What's up, everybody? Billy D here. Sports Bite for March 26th, 2026. A little break at my office today doing my report for NASR from work. So we have a huge day today in sports. Huge. We have the NCAA hockey tournament getting underway today. And as I said on my previous show, the NCAA tournament just starts right at the Sweet 16. There are 16 teams that get in. I've spoken how I would like them to extend it to 24. Obviously, the depth of hockey would not suffice a 64 or 68 team tournament like basketball. But that gets underway today, and we are also in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA basketball tournament, all going on today and tomorrow. We really have a huge sports weekend. There's a ton of big games in the NHL as the playoff races are heating up and coming down to the wire. A lot of stuff going on. And tomorrow, we're going to go on at 6 o'clock in the evening and do our regular show live. And we're even going to give you some football. Yes, that's right. We are going to cover the United Football League. It's an 8-team pro league. Listen, spring football after 2 years of the XFL and the USFL and then the merger, this is the third year of the UFL. So you know what? Spring football has now survived 5 years. And with legalized gambling, it's going to continue to survive as a lot of these players do find their way onto NFL rosters. So we will cover the UFL tomorrow evening as well as all the other college sports. Today in college basketball, 7:10 p.m., Texas takes on Purdue. Purdue is a 7.5-point favorite today, 7:10. That's the first game in the Sweet 16. Also, 7:30 p.m., we have Iowa and Nebraska. Nebraska, a 1.5-point favorite there. The later games, 9:45, Arkansas and Arizona. Arizona, a 7.5-point favorite. We also have Houston, a 2.5-point favorite against Illinois. That is a 10:05 start. So you have Houston, the 5 seed versus 13 seed Illinois, 10:05 p.m. You have 2 seed Arizona versus 14 seed Arkansas. That's at 9:45 p.m. You have 15 seed Nebraska versus Iowa. Nebraska is a 1.5-point favorite. The Iowa Hawkeyes, who upset the defending champion Florida Gators. And the first game of the day, 7:10 in the evening, Texas and Purdue. Purdue, as I said, 7.5-point favorite. Nebraska, 1.5-point favorite. Arizona, a 7.5-point favorite over Arkansas, and Houston, a 2.5-point favorite over Illinois. Those are your games today. Tomorrow, Friday. Wow. So tomorrow, Friday, the 27th, you have Duke against St. John's. That is going to be a war. Duke is a 6.5-point favorite. You have, obviously, Duke is the 1 seed, and St. John's was the 10 seed, although that was kind of a bogus seed St. John's got. Michigan, the 3 seed, versus Alabama, the 18 seed. That's at 7:35 p.m. Friday. Michigan is a 9.5-point favorite. As I said, the Duke-St. John's game is 7:10 p.m. That is, Duke is a 6.5-point favorite. Michigan State versus UConn. Michigan State versus UConn. That is a 9:45 start. That is, again, Friday night. UConn is a 1.5-point favorite over Michigan State. And 10:10 p.m., Tennessee and Iowa State. 6th-ranked Iowa State versus Tennessee. Iowa State is a 3.5-point favorite over Tennessee. So those are your 4 Friday night games. 7:10 St. John's Duke, 7:35 Alabama Michigan, 9:45 Michigan State UConn, and Tennessee and Iowa State, and that's at 10:10 p.m. That is your Sweet 16. As you guys heard on my last show, I still have 12 of my final 16 teams alive in my Sweet 16 bracket picks. As you guys know, my final 4 was I had Michigan, Arizona, Duke, and Florida. So 3 of my Final Four teams are still alive. 12 of my Sweet 16 teams are in play these next 2 days, Thursday and Friday. Let's get to the college hockey, which starts today, 1:30 p.m. I know a lot of you will be working. Turn on the radio. All these games in the college hockey are all on ESPN, ESPNU, ESPN2, ESPN Plus. And ESPN. So ESPNU, ESPN regular, ESPN Plus, the app, ESPNU, and ESPN2. You'll find them on a variety of the ESPN channels. They're on all the ESPN networks. Michigan State and UConn will also play in hockey today at 1:30. Dartmouth will play Wisconsin at 5 p.m. Providence will play Quinnipiac. We have 2 Connecticut teams in the tournament. Providence plays Quinnipiac at 5 p.m. North Dakota plays Merrimack at 8:30 p.m. Merrimack, the upset winners of the Hockey East Championship, defeating UConn. Okay, so tomorrow we have Western Michigan and Minnesota State at 2:30 p.m. We have top-ranked Michigan and my favorites to win the entire NCAA tournament. The Michigan Wolverines, the number 1 team in the country, will play Bentley, who snuck in an auto bid, winning their conference. That is the largest disparity of opponents facing off against each other in this tournament. I would expect Michigan to kill them, but that's why we watch the games. Also, 5:30. So that game's at 5:30. So we have Western Michigan, Minnesota State, Friday, 2:30 p.m. We have Michigan Bentley, 5:30. At 6 o'clock, we have Denver Pioneers versus Cornell. Denver, the Denver University that has won the most, 10 national championship games in NCAA hockey history. Denver will play Cornell at 6 p.m. and Minnesota Duluth will face off against Penn State at 9 p.m. Those are the Friday matchups. That is your Sweet 16. That's where we are in college hockey. Very exciting. Remember, we have 2 for you New Englanders, we have 2 Connecticut teams playing today. 1:30 Michigan State, UConn, and 5 o'clock Providence, Quinnipiac. And like I said, with Dartmouth and Wisconsin at 5, and North Dakota and Merrimack at 8:30. That's your action for today. Let's see here. We have a big night in the NHL. Huge. Obviously, these playoff races are heating up, and they're all coming down to it. Tonight, Blue Jackets and Canadiens at 7 p.m. Obviously, the Jackets are now in second in the Metropolitan. The Canadiens are in great shape as well, but the Blue Jackets are still trying to hold on, as they are 2 points ahead of the New York Islanders, who are just on the... Actually, you know what? Let's get a little update on the standings here before we go any further. Okay. So the Sabres are in first in the Atlantic. They're the 1 seed, 96 points. Tampa is the 2 seed with 93. Montreal is the 3 seed with 88. In the Metropolitan, Carolina has 96, the Blue Jackets 87, and the Penguins 86. Those are your top 6 teams in the Eastern Conference. Your wild cards right now are currently the Boston Bruins with 88 points and the Ottawa Senators, who have moved past the Islanders and the Red Wings for that final spot. They are tied with the Islanders with 85 points. Ottawa and the Islanders. The Red Wings are 1 point back, 84 points. The Flyers are 5 points back, but I'm not even going to put them in the mix because, we're down to the final 10 games. Some teams with 11, most with 10 left in the season. That's where we're at in the East. Let's see here. Western Conference. Colorado, 104. This is the Dallas, 97. Minnesota Wild, 92. Anaheim Ducks, 84. Utah Mammoth, 80. Edmonton Oilers, 79. Vegas with 78. And Nashville with 77. Those are your top 8 in the West. Let's see here. That's not how it would break down. So in the West, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota are your top three in the Central. Anaheim, Edmonton, and Vegas are your top three in the Pacific. The Anaheim Ducks in first place with 84 points. The Young Ducks led by Beckett Seneca. Who would have seen that coming? The Oilers, not the team they were last year. Shoddy goaltending as usual, but also only 7 games over the mark. But 79 points is good enough. That wouldn't even get you in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. Your wild card teams in the Western Conference are the Utah Mammoth and the Nashville Predators. 80 points and 77 points respectively. Right now, the Kings are 3 points out. That's about it. Those are the only ones in the race. So, tonight's schedule. The Islanders 2 points behind the Blue Jackets for second, but also technically percentage points behind Ottawa. Blue Jackets play Montreal 7 p.m. The Penguins play Ottawa, a huge game with playoff implications at 7 p.m. The Kraken and the Lightning 3 points out of first, trying to get the top spot back in the Atlantic. The Minnesota Wild play the Florida Panthers, who are playing out the string now. Panthers will not be in the playoffs to quest for a three-peat. Lots of injuries sidelined the Florida Panthers this year, and they just never could get enough players back. The largest injury report you've ever seen in the history of hockey. At one point, this team had 9 of their 18 starters out. Still a bunch of guys out. Panthers are 3 games over 500, but if the Panthers finish in the bottom 5, they will get a first-round draft pick back. Right now, they are 6th from the bottom, so there's a lot of Charlotte checkers from the AHL in the lineup right now. Will the Panthers tank for that pick? When healthy, they're one of the deepest teams in the league. I don't know if the pick is that big a deal to them. I expect them to be contending when they have all their players back healthy next year. A long ride for the Panthers, who went to 3 straight Stanley Cups. The war of attrition, very short off seasons and deep playoff runs just wore the team out. Lots of injuries this year, and of course losing Captain Barkov, Alexander Barkov, in the preseason in a fluke ACL injury in practice. So wasn't to be for them. The Dallas Stars at the New York Islanders at 7 p.m. That's a huge game for the Islanders. The Islanders lost a tough game to the Blackhawks, a team they're not supposed to lose to 2 days ago, and that put them out of the playoff position, but they are tied with Ottawa. Percentage points behind the Senators. Stars at Islanders at 7 p.m. The Stars in comfortable playoff position in second in the Pacific. In the Central, in the Western Conference. So this is a must-win for the Islanders. Have some tough opponents. They have the Dallas on Thursday, Florida on Saturday, and Pittsburgh on Monday. But the good news for the Islanders is, of their 11 games, they have 9 at home. So they've got to make some hay at home, and you can't be losing to teams like the Chicago Blackhawks. Those Blackhawks will be at Philly tonight at 7. Not a lot going on there. The Flyers are 5 points out, so the game means a lot to them. The Sharks are at the Blues, 8 p.m. The Devils at the Predators. The Predators are in a playoff spot in the Western Conference. The Avalanche at the Jets. That doesn't have a lot of meaning, nor does the Capitals at the Mammoth. Listen, the Mammoth are not... That's not that juicy a matchup. The Ducks at the Flames. The Flames are one of the worst teams in hockey. That's not very juicy as far as playoff implications go. And then we have the Oilers at the Golden Knights and the Kings at the Canucks. The Ducks and Flames are 9 o'clock. The Oilers Golden Knights are 9:30. And the Kings Canucks are 10 p.m. Those are tonight's games. Obviously, the Oilers and the Knights are in playoff position. They're straddling for second and third in the Pacific. That's not a huge game. I would expect both of them to make the playoffs. The Mammoth are in playoff position right now. The Capitals have drifted out of it. That's not a huge game. The big games with major dice on the line here is Blue Jackets Montreal, Penguins Senators, Dallas, and the Islanders. So those are all 7 o'clock starts. Those are your big games tonight. Jackets, Canadiens, Penguins, Senators, Stars, Islanders. All right, that's our sports bite for today. Enjoy the hockey. both pro and college. Big games abroad. Tonight is a night where you want to be in a sports bar or in your sports den. Tonight's a multiple TV night. The multiple screen viewing night tonight if you're a sports fan. I mean, you got the NCAA basketball, the hockey, and some juicy hockey matchups in the NHL. We also had Major League Baseball get underway last night, and there was only one game of note. The New York Yankees defeated the Giants. A nice game by Max Fried. They wiped the Giants 7-0. Although Aaron Judge was in postseason form, that's for sure. Aaron Judge with 4 strikeouts last night in an 0-for-5 are really pathetic. Today's baseball schedule, it's opening day at Citi Field, the Mets and the Pirates at 1:15, the White Sox at the Brewers at 2:10, the Nationals at the Cubs from Wrigley at 2:20, the Minnesota Twins at the Orioles 3:05, the Boston Red Sox at the Cincinnati Reds, that's a classic type of matchup, 4:10, the LA Angels at the Houston Astros 4:10, Detroit at San Diego 4:10, the Tampa Bay Rays at the Cardinals 4:15, the Texas Rangers at the Phillies, that is also 4:15, the Arizona Diamondbacks at the stacked LA Dodgers, that is tonight at 8:30. What else we got? What else do we have here? There is, let's see here. Okay. What's the late game? Okay, so the Dodgers, 8:30, hosting the Diamondbacks. And the last game was the Cleveland Guardians. God, I hate that name. The Cleveland Guardians and the Seattle Mariners. The Cleveland Guardians and the Seattle Mariners. That's a 10-10 start. So that is all your baseball for today. That is all your baseball for today. So you got a full slate. The Yankees are not playing because they played yesterday. So, you know, they have the whole thing where opening day, you don't play 2 days in a row. I don't know why. So that is your MLB for today. Tons of sports. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get too roped into the NBA right away. I don't get too roped into MLB right away. You got 162 games. And, you know, I don't really get dialed into baseball until it's hot enough outside to go to a baseball game. Okay, I'm not sitting in the stands in New England or in any cold weather state in late March and April freezing my ass off watching baseball. You'll catch me into this in June when the weather is comfortably warm in all states to attend some of these suckers. So, but I'll give you the standings and the results. Again, I'll be on tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. Our live show on YouTube. This is a pre-recorded. It will air on all the outlets. It's a pre-recorded Sports Bite today because I wanted to get some of this stuff done before all this stuff starts because I was not going to be able to do a show due to my work schedule. So I did want to address one thing. I got some messages from a couple of people on the chat about me not covering the Lady Huskies of the women tournament. Listen. I'm not going to cover women's basketball. I'm sorry. No offense to the girls. I think it's great. You know, I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. I mean, there is such a level of there's a non-competitive balance in women's sports. I mean, UConn the other day, they won by 50 points. There's not enough good teams. And I'm sorry, that's in all women's sports, too. When we watch the hockey in the Olympics, there's 2 teams that were any good, USA, Canada. All the rest of the teams just got destroyed by USA or Canada. I know there was a 2-1 game in there where Switzerland hung with the Lady Canadians, and Finland and Sweden are kind of okay, but they never end up. It's Canada and US in the gold medal game in every tournament, World Cup, World Championship, Olympics. It's always Canada and the United States. It's just there's no competitive balance. And female basketball is the same way. I'm not even addressing it. Gino Auriemma and his 8 million trips to the Final Four, it's not an impressive stat to me. I'm sorry. You're in a playing field where there's only 4 to 8 good teams. That's it. There's no competition. UConn and over history. I mean, what do you had? Tennessee, UConn, maybe occasionally Iowa, Notre Dame, Baylor. And you can name maybe 2 others. There's 8 good teams. All the rest of the colleges suck. There's no competition. UConn's playing North Carolina, I think, I don't even know, today or tomorrow. They're favored by like 30 points. It's a joke. I'm sorry. Forgive me. You're not going to hear me cover women's sports. There's just no competitive balance. And that goes for the WNBA, if anybody's going to come at me about that. That's a league that shouldn't even exist. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, nobody was tuning in. The NBA, for political correctness, subsidizes the WNBA and pays for it. And it's the only reason why it's the only reason why it hasn't folded. And then they just threatened to go on strike and got a new collective bargaining agreement where you're paying these women $300,000 a year now. Some will even make like $1 million, almost up to $1 million. That is going to bankrupt the WNBA because eventually the NBA is going to get tired of paying for it because nobody's watching. And for all these girls that hazed Caitlin Clark, they're all jealous of her. They're the reason why you guys are not flying coach anymore. Okay? And Caitlin Clark is the reason. And Caitlin Clark, while she's the female Larry Bird, she's also injury prone. And she was hurt a lot last year. And when she's hurt and not playing, nobody watches. If she's not playing and gets hurt again, nobody's watching. So your new deal that you got is probably going to end up bankrupting your league and putting you out of business because eventually the NBA is going to get tired of paying for it. So sorry, girls. I'm all for you competing in athletics and collegiately and if you got a game to play, I'm all for it, but I'm not going to cover it. I'm into sports at the highest level, at the highest competitive level, and that's just not it. So, sorry. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I'm Billy D. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, North American Sports Report. You can also follow Billy T. Napoli on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, X. Check me out. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day.